didn't realise we didn't have one big enough. So what we've done instead, I accidentally drilled into a cable so we can see daylight outside for the extractor vent. Welcome back to the kitchen renovation blog, and this is a phase one of getting the kitchen finished. In this video we are going to be doing all those little prep things that we need to do before we get to plastering. There are going to be a few hiccups along the way and things don't always necessarily go to plan, so let's get into it. So we've got a list of things that we need to do today. We haven't got the girls for the day, so we've got an opportunity to get quite a lot done. First thing that we need to do is take down this bit of plasterboard up here. We've got a vapour barrier underneath the plasterboard and it's kind of flapping around when the wind is blowing, so we need to get that sorted. But also we've got cables up here that we need access for because we're going to be putting a extractor fan up here, and then we're putting another socket down here and socket for outside. So yeah, that is the plan of action today. Oh, and also we're going to core drill the wall for the extractor fan in the utility as well. So yeah, first things first is getting the plasterboard down. Okay, so we've got the plasterboard down and we've pulled back the vapour barrier so we can see what cables we have. And then also, I thought we were putting the extractor fan here, but we're not. We're actually putting it right up there. So yeah, we're gonna crack on and get the hole drilled for the extractor fan. Okay, so for the extractor fan, we need to create a hole that goes through to outside so it can vent outside. So we need to get this tube through the wall, like so. Usually you'd use a core drill, but we didn't realise we didn't have one big enough. So what we've done instead is decided where we wanted to put it, put this on here, drew around it so we knew where we were drilling, and then around the outside of where the circle is of the tube, for the tube, we've drilled holes in close proximity to each other. And then we've also put a centre one which goes all the way through outside. These ones only go through the first layer, so through the breeze block, and then we'll go through the bricks on the outside from the outside just to give a neater finish. So yeah, now that I've drilled all these holes out, I can knock this bit out, ready for the tube to go in. A little bit longer winded to do, but it still does the job. Let's crack on and get this knocked out. I haven't filmed us chipping out the breeze block because I was just worried about bits flying and it hitting the camera, but it is now finished, or it is now finished on this side. We need to go outside now and drill on the other side, but yeah, the tube's fitting, so that's good. James is probably going to go outside and do the outside bit. Whilst he's doing that, the vents for the outside, we've got these ones with the flaps on, but I have a big fear of spiders, so I'm going to put some mesh on inside to hopefully stop them from coming in. Whether it works, who knows? Yeah, but I'd need to cut them down to fit into the vents. So I'm going to do that one for the kitchen one and the one for the utility room as well. Okay, so I've just had to pop out to Screwfix to get some more cable, and I needed another back box for the extractor fan isolator switch. So whilst I've been out, James has chiseled out. Sorry if you can hear the noise in the background. James is currently outside drilling the other side for the extractor fan. Yeah, so whilst I've been out, James has managed to chisel out the back box for the extra socket that we're putting in here, but we do still need to run a channel up there, so I think I'm going to crack on with that whilst James is outside. I've just chucked some food in the oven because we need to eat. We need energy to keep us going. So when we did like most of the rewire in this house, we chiseled all the channels out by hand because all of our walls are solid walls apart from where we've put the utility in. That's what you kind of find in the UK, is that older properties, they are built with proper walls, I'll call them, whereas newer builds, they're normally built with stud walls and stuff, so we've had to chisel them out. We did borrow a tool from my uncle because he's an electrician to chase it out with like a power tool, but we decided not to use it in the end because A, they do create quite a lot of dust, but they do make the process a lot quicker, but also B, because of the condition of the wiring in this house before we had it rewired, we were just so worried about hitting a cable and not knowing it was there. So yeah, we ended up doing everything by hand. For doing it by hand, I will be using one of these. I will insert the name on the screen because I can't remember what they're called. These are brilliant for doing this sort of task. And then I'm just going to go in with a good old mallet. We only need to sort of go down deep enough that the cable can sit in the channel nicely, and then we can plaster over it. So yeah, let's get on with that. So we are making good progress. We have finished bashing in this area now, so we can start clearing up. So I'll just show you where we are. So we can see daylight outside for the extractor vent. I've chased the walls out down here for the extra socket, and I've also put in these little cable clips. These are really good. Well, we found them a lot better than having trunking and stuff. But yeah, they just sort of pin back the cables to keep them back against the wall. I managed to get out an old back box that was here, but yeah, we're making good progress. I think James is just about to start doing the core drilling for the extractor fan in the utility. We do actually have the right size core drill for that hole, so hopefully that's going to be a lot more straightforward. It's going well, and it's coming up 2 o'clock, so we said we'll stop about 5 o'clock, so we've got 3 more hours to get what we can done, and then we just need to get tidied up after that. So I've now fixed the back box, and I also had to chisel out this bit up here for the cables to go into. So yeah, that's all done. Oh, and James has also just drilled through the wall for the outdoor socket. So that's now done. So go get it cleaned up, and then we can start pulling cables, etc. as well. Right, okay, so cleaned up. So we're looking a bit more tidier. So now we're ready to pull the cables through for this extra socket down here. James is currently outside just putting the vent cover on outside for the kitchen extractor just before we get stopped, because we've only got 2 hours left until we really need to stop. So yeah, whilst it's still light, I'm just going to get these cables pulled through for this socket. Okay, so we've got that cable pulled through, ready for it all to be rewired. I will say, when you are doing electrics, is make sure you consult a specialist, because it's not something you want to be messing around without any guidance on it. We're lucky that we've got electricians in our family, and obviously when we've been doing electrical work, we've always been going on their guidance and their expert knowledge of it. If you don't know what you're doing and you're not following and you're not consulting with an expert, just don't touch electrics. It's so dangerous. Yeah, so just a little word there about that. Okay, so it's been a few days. I kind of left you with us doing the plug socket and warning you about doing electrics. So we carried on from there. So the socket's now in down here, but we've put all the kids' stuff back. And then the extractor fan is now up, although it does look wonky, but we're not too bothered at the moment because it's going to have to come out for when we plaster. But yeah, it's up there and it's functioning. And then we've got the fuse switch, but the fuse switch, the cables just need cutting back a little bit more as they're a little bit too long, but it's working. And plasterboard's back up on that bit. However, on this bit over here, I was putting this bit of plasterboard back up and I accidentally drilled into a cable and it went bang. So we need to get this fixed. We've stripped it back, but yeah, it's literally split the earth cable in half. So yeah, we've got to get that repaired. So hence why the plasterboard isn't back up there. Yeah, it was going quite well up until that point. Hubby did warn me beforehand to say, make sure you're aware of all the cables. Yep. And I still managed to do it. So at the moment, we currently don't have any downstairs lights, but that's not a problem because we never ever use the big lights in our house anyway. We live on lamps, so it's not It's not a big deal. So yeah, that's where we're up to at the moment. So we're back at doing some work in the kitchen. Basically, we've got Saturday today and Sunday, so 2 days to get as much done as possible. Sorry if you can hear that noise in the background. James is currently outside core drilling the hole for the extractor fan in the utility. So yeah, that's what that noise is. At the moment, I'm just trying to clear the decks because we've still got the plasterboard on the other side of the lounge dining area to sort out the flapping vapour barrier. So we've got to do that, but that shouldn't take too long. But I just need to clear the sofa out the way and stuff so we can get to it. And then once I've done that, I'm then going to go into the utility and we're going to get the cabinets off the wall and start clearing in there because we need to start chasing out walls for the rewiring that room. Pretty much all of the sockets and stuff have got to move for the new layout. So yeah, we're going to do that and then we'll just see how the day goes. We are starting a little bit late, it's now 10 o'clock as well, and I think we're going to aim to finish about 3:30, 4 o'clock because we're going to go to our mum's for some food, and then after that we're going to go to friends for some drinks this evening. So we're a bit short on the day today, but hopefully tomorrow we'll get up nice and early and then get loads done. Fingers crossed. So James is back outside core drilling again. Unfortunately, we've only got a batteried SDS drill. Ideally, we should have a corded one for doing this, but it is what it is. It's making slow progress. It's fine. James has now taken all the plasterboard up off here and is just putting expanding foam in behind the vapour barrier. But apparently it is quite drafty up there, so no wonder we could hear the vapour barrier flapping around. And then I've just been busy clearing all the stuff out of the utility, so I've been putting it in the lounge. I've got to take these cabinets down, but I do need to disconnect this plug socket up here so I can get that one down. I have been absolutely rubbish at filming because I kind of left you yesterday where I was, what was I doing? Chasing out the walls, but we have got all the sockets back on in the utility. So we've moved these sockets here, which are for the washing machine and tumble dryer. We've moved those up because of where we're going to stack the washing machine and tumble dryer. This socket was over here, so we've moved that across because obviously we won't be able to access that once the washing machine and tumble dryer there. So yeah, that's moved across. We've also got the extractor fan in. We're just about to get that wired in, so it's working. The fuse switches for these sockets are up here, so if we need to isolate them or anything we can do that. That socket there is for our undercounter lights that come in here. That goes in the cupboard. So the cabinets are hung on like a rail type mechanism across here. I'm going to get them moved across now because obviously once the washing machine and tumble dryer go here, we're going to have a cabinet up here which is deeper than the usual wall units. So yeah, I'm going to move it all across, ready for obviously the new layout. James has just been filling in these old holes that were in the wall from the old socket, so I've got some mess to clear up here. And then in here we've taken all the plasterboard off here so we can access all the cables. James is going to flip the light switch around so it's on the outside, because again, when the washing machine and tumble dryer are stacked, the light switch you won't be able to access the light switch, so that's got to move. And we've now got a socket down here, and James has also reinforced the stud wall here as well. This area is all back to normal as well. But yeah, we're making progress. It is coming up to 20 to 5, so I think potentially just do the light switch and then get the board back on.
Let's clean up first.
Clean up first.
The light switch isn't going to be that messy.
Yeah.
So let's clean up everywhere.
Yeah.
And then let's focus on the light switch. So at the end of the day, we can leave the light switch as it is and just put the plasterboard back on if we run out of time.
Yeah.
We can do it in an evening.
Okay.
Let's get cleaned up.
So we're going to get cleaned up and yeah, get things looking a bit more organised. So I have done an absolute rubbish job of filming our progress on this phase. So we managed to get most of the things done, but we've still got quite a few little bits that we need to do. Yeah, I'll just show you the utility, because obviously that's where we did most of the work, which was obviously moving sockets and stuff, and I've also put the cabinets and stuff back up, so I'll just show you in there. So the utility is back and functioning. So I have actually moved these cabinets across, ready for when we do stack the washing machine and tumble dryer. To be fair, it was more the fact that I didn't really want to wire this socket back into this cabinet, so we just moved that across, because the cabinet's got to come down anyway for the plastering. So all the sockets are now moved. So these are for the washing machine and tumble dryer. We've moved this socket across. We've got the extractor fan in, and that's fully working. What else did we manage to get done? Oh yeah, that was the other thing we needed to do. We had to move the light switch from this side to this side. We've also got an isolation switch up there for the extractor fan, and we've got a additional socket down here. I think that was pretty much it on Sunday. It was really mainly just in that room. But yeah, there's just a few like little bits that we need to sort, and then it's just a case of obviously getting a date from the plasterers, and then we can do the final bit before the plastering start, the bits that have to be done like a week to 2 weeks beforehand. So yeah, that's where we're at with it. And hopefully next time when I do this, I will be a little bit more on it with the old filming and showing you what we do. Okay, so it's been a few weeks since we last did any work in the kitchen. I think the last weekend was in February, and now we're in April. So yeah, it's been nearly a couple of months. But yeah, I think we kind of underestimated how much time we needed for this first stage. So yeah, we've got another weekend to get bits done. We've just got, so it's just loads of little bits, like the things that you don't see when you're doing renovations. So we've got the stud wall around the utility. We actually need to reinforce it, but we also need to take it off because we need to find the cables for the socket that is going in the utility where the shoe storage is. I've got loads of sticky like command hooks stuck on the ceiling in the like lounge area, so I need to remove all those. Just like little prep things that need to be done. I need to remove some this coving up here. We need to just sort of tidy up the ceiling as well, ready for it to be plastered. Just need to move one of the downlighters in the utility, and then also we need to still need to fix the lighting cable that I drilled into. At the moment it's been terminated so we can get the lights on downstairs. We've also got a couple of downlighters that we need to put in the kitchen as well. What else have we got? So in the ceiling there's also a couple of holes from the old downlighters, so we need to obviously fill those in. Yeah, I think that's it. So fingers crossed we can get it done this weekend, but I am out this afternoon because I'm going to go and do a baby sale with my mum, just get rid of some of the girls' club stuff because they've outgrown a lot of stuff. James is just coming back after dropping off the girls with grandparents, so they're away tonight. So yeah, we've got today and tomorrow to get everything done. Fingers crossed we should be able to get it done, and then the next stage will be us just doing all the bits that we need to do like right before the plasterer starts. So yeah, that'll be the next sort of bit where we need to do a lot of work and stuff, but first I need to find a plasterer before we even get a date booked in for that. So let's crack on and get this stuff done. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the plasterboard off this wall here so we can get it reinforced behind there, and also get the socket pulled through that is coming down here. But we need to get all this stuff off the wall first and out so we can crack on and get that done. Okay, so we've managed to get all the boards down. We've got the cables and stuff for this socket down here. Here we had cable ready for an extractor fan to go in above the hob, but obviously because we've installed the fan in the family area, we're not going to put one up there now, so we're just trying to get the cable out that's running across from here over to above the hob, because we're not going to use it, so we just need to get rid of it. So yeah, I'm just going to take a bit of plasterboard down in the kitchen just here, just so I can get to it. But I think this will be underneath the girls' bedroom. So, and there's no boards that we've lifted up in there, and I'd rather not lift any boards if we don't need to. So I'm just going to take this bit of plasterboard down because that's a lot easier than taking up boards. Okay, so I kind of left you a bit hanging yesterday because I took down the bit of plasterboard up here, and then I stopped filming. So I had to go off to Screwfix because we needed, I think, just a plasterboard back box. But I also picked up some cable for our smoke alarm heat detectors for when they get wired in. And then once I got back from there, it was time for me to go off to do the baby sale. But James has made very good progress yesterday afternoon. Let me just show you where we're at in here. So yeah, all the plasterboard's back on. However, I do need to take this bit of plasterboard back off because this bit of rock wall, which is insulation, didn't get put back in. So I need to do that first. We now have a socket down here, which is fantastic. So I can now have my Dyson up here. So today we're going to finish off in here. There's a bit of plasterboard that needs to be done here. James is just moving this downlighter so it's here, because once we do the new layout, because the washing machine and tumble dryer are going to be stacked, that light's going to be in the wrong place and it will be literally hovering over the top of the cabinet, which is not good. Then we do need to fill in any holes that are in the ceiling as well, and then that is this room done until we've got a date for plastering. Hopefully then we'll get into the kitchen and just finish off the bits that need to be done in here. But yeah, first things first, I'm going to get that bit of plasterboard off and get that insulation back in. Sorted out the insulation in the utility, and we've moved the downlight, one of the downlighters in the utility, so that's all done. James is just getting on with putting the plasterboard up around next to the toilet, so he's just doing that. So I'm going to come in here and just get this bit of coving removed and just tidy up this bit of ceiling here and get all the like command hooks down and stuff that we've got stuck on the ceiling, because obviously they'll need to come down. So, kind of stopped filming again on Sunday because we kind of just get so involved in getting things done that I forget to set up the camera and keep it updated. So we kind of got the kitchen back into a functioning state. But yeah, we are pretty much nearly done. There's just a couple of things that we'll need to do, probably just in the evening or something like that, or when we've got a couple of hours spare on a weekend. But yeah, there's nothing stopping us from getting a plasterer booked in. But I do need to find a good plasterer. So if you are in the Milton Keynes, Buckinghamshire area and you know of a good plasterer, please comment down below and let me know, because finding a good plasterer is... yeah, they're a bit like gold dust. So any recommendations would be much appreciated. The last few bits that we need to do is still sort out this cable that I drilled into. So that still needs to be rerun. So we need to run a new cable down to this switch here. We also just want to chisel out this channel here for the cables, so it's a bit wider so they sit a lot neater. Need to just sort out the isolation switch up here because it doesn't sit back fully, just because I think there's just too much bulk behind it, so I think the cables just need shortening a bit. So yeah, we are pretty much there in terms of we could probably get a date for a plasterer. So yeah, we've got all the downlighters are now in the ceiling. There's all the holes that have been filled from old downlighters, they've all been filled. Single socket up here. This was going to be a fuse switch for the extractor fan that we were going to have above the hob, but obviously we decided to put the other extractor fan that we've got in the kitchen in and not have a hob one. So yeah, it just meant that we would have had to have a blanking plate there. So we thought we might as well make use of it and just have a single socket there. Not sure what we're going to use it for, but I suppose it'd be handy for fairy lights or something. We've got the sockets down here. We've tidied up the ceiling along here so it's nice and smooth. The coving has been removed that's above the lounge archway, and then into the utility. We do now have a plug socket down here for the Dyson, which is amazing because before it was just sitting up here on the units. Plasterboard's been fitted along this bit here. That bit can be straight on plastered, so we don't need to put plasterboard on there. Plasterboard walls all been reinforced. This downlight has been moved to there. So yeah, we've made good progress. So the first video that I did of this series, I did like a plan for getting the stuff done, but we did have to tweak it a little bit, just because I think when we initially worked out the timings for it, we based it on, I think it was something ridiculous, like a 12-hour day, and it was like, realistically, we're not going to get a full 12 hours because obviously, depending on where the girls were going, would depend on what time we could start, because obviously we'd have to get them out. Yeah, so we basically shortened it down to an 8-hour day, but we didn't really re-evaluate the time that it was going to take. So that did work really well, but we should have just re-evaluated how long things were going to take based on an 8-hour day. So yeah, it's ended up taking us an extra weekend to get the bits done, but it's done. I'm going to leave it here because this is phase 1 now pretty much complete. The next one is going to be phase 2, which is going to be an exciting bit because we are going to be getting ready to get everything out of here and for a plasterer to come in, because I can't wait for it to be plastered. It's been a long time coming in this room, so I'm not sure when we'll get it booked in. I'm kind of hoping for May time, but it just depends on obviously with other things going on and stuff. So might not have a video for me for a little while with regards to our kitchen project, but there will be other ones in between. If you do want to check out my first video where I talk about how we're planning our time to do this, especially when you've got 2 little girls, that's been really helpful doing the planning bit. I'll link that up here. And if you do like this sort of content, then please do subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.